All right, so we're diving into some serious NFL news today.
Yeah.
Alvin Kamara's new contract with the Saints, it's got everyone buzzing, and for good reason.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a diehard, hudoditic. Maybe you're a fantasy football fanatic. Or maybe you're just fascinated by the business side of the NFL. Whatever your angle, we're going deep on this deal and what it means for the Saints, the league, and even you. You've been following Kamara's career since he stepped onto the field. What's your take on this news?
It's fascinating to see how this deal reflects the evolving role of the running back in today's NFL. Kamara is the epitome of this change. He's not just a powerhouse runner, he's a multi-dimensional threat.
Yeah.
That forces defenses to completely rethink their strategy.
That's right. I mean, when you look at his stats, over 6,000 yards from scrimmage, 47 rushing touchdowns, 18 receiving touchdowns. It's clear he's a unique talent. And those multiple Pro Bowl selections, they speak for themselves. But I'm curious, beyond the numbers, what makes Kamara such a game changer?
His versatility is key. We've seen him run with power, catch passes like a seasoned wide receiver, and even line up in the slot. This ability to play multiple positions and excel at them is what makes him so valuable. In fact, analysts have found that Kamara's presence on the field allows the Saints to run 30% more unique play variations compared to other teams.
Wow, 30%. Now that's a stat that really puts things into perspective.
Right.
And for you fantasy players out there, a running back who can rack up yards, both rushing and receiving, that's a true gold mine. Okay, let's talk about the contract itself. We know it's a multi-year extension, but the exact details are still a bit of a mystery.
That's right. But we can make some educated guesses. Based on current NFL contract trends,
Right.
we're probably looking at a mix of guaranteed money and performance-based incentives. This kind of structure is pretty standard these days, offering benefits for both sides.
It seems like that's become the go-to approach. So in this case, Kamara gets that long-term financial security, and the Saints get to keep a key player motivated and performing at a high level. Sounds like a smart strategy, right?
Yes, but it's important to remember that there are risks involved for both parties. While Kamara secures his financial future, he's also betting on himself to stay healthy and productive throughout the duration of the contract. And for the Saints, they're making a substantial financial commitment, which could potentially limit their options when it comes to future roster decisions.
You're right, there's always another side to the coin. It's like a high-stakes poker game, with both sides trying to get the best deal possible. But even with those risks, it's hard to argue against the Saints' decision to lock down a player like Kamara.
Absolutely. And remember, with Drew Brees retiring, the Saints are in a bit of a rebuilding phase. They need to find a new identity on offense. And having a proven playmaker like Kamara provides stability and leadership during this transitional period.
It's like having a rock-solid foundation to build upon. But this signing goes beyond just filling a need. It's a clear statement about the Saints' ambitions. What do you think this move says about their overall strategy?
This isn't just about maintaining a decent offense. This is about sending a message. They're in it to win it all. They're building a team for sustained success, and they see Alvin Kamara as a crucial piece of that puzzle.
Makes sense. They're not going to throw around a big contract like that unless they're serious about competing for a championship.
Exactly. And you have to consider the impact this has on the Saints' salary cap. By signing this deal now, they're also creating a certain amount of dead money, money allocated to Kamara even if he were to leave the team, which could affect their ability to sign other big free agents in the coming years.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. It's not just about the on-field impact, but the long-term financial implications for the team as well.
And that's what makes these contract negotiations so fascinating. There are so many layers to consider. The player's performance, the team's needs, the financial constraints, and the ripple effects across the league. It's a delicate balancing act, that's for sure. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about how this contract impacts the other players on the Saints offense.
Yeah, you can't ignore that ripple effect. What kind of impact are we talking about?
Well, think about Jameis Winston at quarterback. Having a weapon like Kamara in the backfield makes his job a whole lot easier. It's an instant safety valve, a reliable target when the pressure is on.
So it's almost like saying, hey, Jameis, we got your back. Here's one of the most dynamic players in the league to help you succeed.
Precisely. And don't forget, Michael Thomas, their star wide receiver. Defenses can't just double team him anymore because Kamara demands so much attention.
I can see how that would create a real headache for opposing defensive coordinators. They can't just focus on stopping the run anymore or shutting down Thomas because Kamara can hurt them in so many different ways.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's not just the skill positions. The offensive line benefits too. Knowing they have a runner like Kamara who can make something out of nothing even when the blocking isn't perfect takes a lot of pressure off those guys.
So this move wasn't just about securing Kamara's talent. It was about maximizing the potential of the entire offense. Very strategic indeed. I bet the coaching staff is already drawing up some exciting new plays with Kamara in mind.
Oh, I have no doubt about that. This signing gives them a whole new playbook.
Yeah.
We can see more screens, more misdirection plays, more creative uses of Kamara's unique skill set. It's going to be fun to watch how they utilize him.
You know, it's funny how these contract negotiations often have implications that extend far beyond the player and the team involved.
That's a great point. What's interesting here is how this contract could influence other running back deals across the league.
Okay, now we're talking about that ripple effect again. How so?
Well, this contract could raise the bar for what elite running backs can command in the market. It sets a precedent that other players and their agents will surely use as leverage in future negotiations. We might see a shift in how running backs are valued, especially those who possess that dual threat capability, like Kamara.
It's like he's setting a new standard.
Exactly. And beyond the financial implications, there's also the question of how other teams in the NFC South, like the Buccaneers, Panthers, and Falcons, will respond to this move.
Will they try to match the Saints' offensive firepower? Will they focus on bolstering their defenses to try to contain Kamara? So many possibilities.
Those are the questions we'll be exploring as the season unfolds, and that's what makes this whole thing so fascinating. The NFL is the dynamic, ever-changing landscape, and this one signing has the potential to shift the balance of power in a significant way.
And it all comes back to Alvin Kamara's special talent, a game changer. The Saints have made it very clear that they understand his value.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And for all you listeners out there, whether you're a diehard Saints fan, a fantasy football guru, or just someone who enjoys the intricacies of pro sports, this contract offers some valuable insights.
All right, so let's break it down for our listeners. What are the key takeaways here? What should they be thinking about?
First, pay attention to the evolving role of the running back in today's NFL. Kamara's versatility is a prime example of how the position is changing. It's not just about pounding the ball between the tackles anymore.
Right. It's about being a multi-dimensional threat, a player who can impact the game in a variety of ways.
Exactly. And that brings us to our second takeaway, the broader trends in the NFL. We're seeing teams place a premium on offensive firepower, and they're willing to spend big money to secure it.
And this deal is a perfect example of that trend. But what does that mean for the fans? More points, more excitement.
You got it. We're likely to see more high-scoring games, more jaw-dropping plays, and more competitive balance across the league.
Yes.
It's a good time to be an NFL fan.
I can definitely get behind that. Anything else our listeners should keep in mind?
Finally, think about the impact this deal might have on the Saints' rivals in the NFC South.
Yeah.
How will teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Carolina Panthers, and the Atlanta Falcons respond? Will they try to match the Saints' offensive firepower? Will they focus on bolstering their defenses to try and contain Kamara?
Ooh, that's a great point. It's like a chess match, each team making strategic moves to try and gain an advantage.
That's the beauty of the NFL. It's a constantly evolving game, both on and off the field, and this one signing has the potential to shake things up in a big way.
So to wrap things up, this deal is about so much more than just one player's contract. It's a glimpse into the future of the NFL where versatility, offensive firepower, and strategic decision-making are paramount.
Well said. And remember, this is just the beginning. The ripple effects of this deal will continue to unfold as the season progresses. Keep your eyes peeled, folks. There's a lot more to come.
Thanks for diving deep with us. Keep those questions coming. That's what keeps this whole thing exciting. And be sure to tune in next time when we'll be tackling another intriguing topic that's sure to get you thinking. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those NFL discussions going.